Show yourself, Obelisk the Tormentor!
Shadow game as I call your name! Winged Dragon of Ra! I summon the almighty Slifer the Sky Dragon!
What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr War Games, and today I'm actually bringing you a 100% pure Dark Magician deck. Now, you will not see any staple cards in here. You will not see Ash Blossoms, you will not see Allure of Darknesses. Anything that does not relate to Dark Magician specifically will not be in this deck. So shout out to Chris on this one, because he's kind of come up with a format, or he kind of put the tournament together for this weekend, which will literally be archetype specific. So you can't play Dragon Link, but you could play Rockets. And every single card within your deck must come from that archetype. So for example, if you were to play a Blue Eyes deck, every single card needs to be Blue Eyes. You can't play generic dragons, you can't play generic dragons in the extra deck, you can't play stuff like Effect Faders to help your tuners, but you can play stuff like Maiden with Eyes of Blue and Sage with Eyes of Blue and cards like that. Which is why I've kind of gone with Dark Magician, because, you know, I don't think I've actually ever put a 100% pure Dark Magician deck together. So I thought it'd be really kind of cool to do that. And this is one of the first decks that jumped to my mind, because, like, they've got so many cards that relate to Dark Magician. Like, the only difficulty, or the only thing that was a little bit interesting, was the extra deck, because they don't really have 15 different monsters for the extra deck. But I'll explain that as well. The other really good thing about this is it was not a massive challenge, because I'd already been prepared for what would happen if I can't use Verti Anaconda to make Dragoon, and I've actually got ways in here that will show you how to do that. So, with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification button, and subscribe. If you get this video up to at least 50 likes, I will bring you the duels from the weekend tournament using this deck. So, with all of that out of the way, let's dive headfirst into this Dark Magician 100% pure profile. So, we've gone with Triple Dark Magician. It is a 100% pure Dark Magician deck, so Triple Dark Magician. Not much more needs to be said about that. Triple Magician Rod, best card in the deck. If you play any less than 3 Magician's Rod, you're out of your mind. It searches you everything you need, especially in a 100% pure Dark Magician deck. That's what you need. Now, I'm sorry for the next card, but especially when it has to be 100% pure Dark Magician, you have to play Magician Souls. Now, I'm hoping that we're going to get the reprint really, really soon. And when you look at stuff like Bingo Machine Go, and you look at stuff like Ancient Gear Fusion, they were 40s plus cards. When the reprints happened, they dropped massively. So I'm hoping the same can be said about Magician Souls. Now, this is the one card I put in that I really, really like, is Magician of Chaos. It is a Dark Magician card, do not worry, I'm not trying to find a loophole. But the reason I've gone with Magician of Chaos is because I'm going for a pure Dark Magician deck. Not only does this count as another Dark Magician to be used as fusion material, or I can use other Dark Magicians as ritual material, it just gives me a Dark Magician effect monster that I can revive from the graveyard. Now, I've not maxed it out at 3 because I don't have the ability of playing Manjus, so I don't have the consistency of constantly getting to this. But I do have the consistency through Rod to get to the ritual spells, because the ritual spells double up as ritual and fusion spells. So if I don't have Magician of Chaos, I use the spell as fusion fodder. If I do, then I use it as ritual fodder. And when you've got stuff like Magician Souls, and we're even playing Navigation back in the deck as well, because it's 100% pure, we're putting more level 7s on the board to consistently get there to be used as either XYZ fodder or fusion fodder. Speaking of which, we do have Double Apprentice. So Apprentice is a Dark Magician card, so don't even worry about that. The only downside about Apprentice right now is that with Soul Servant, it should have included her in the graveyard for a draw. Only thing. But yeah, doubling up on this, search out your Dark Magician. Because we're playing Navigation, it's more important to get Dark Magician to your hand. And because you're not playing Red Eyes Fusion with Verti Anaconda, you're not sending it to the graveyard on a consistent basis. And you're probably going to be summoning it more times than not off of Souls rather than sending it to the graveyard. So you can then use it as XYZ fodder, or of course you can use it as fusion fodder. We've then got the one Dark Magician Girl. Because we are playing pure, I do want to play Magician's Combination, and I want to play Bond between teacher and student, because I actually love that combo. It's such a nice little element of the deck. The issue is it's just not as consistent. And the thing that makes Navigation better in this, and it also makes Bond between teacher and student, is because you can't play an Ash Blossom deck, no one in the tournament is allowed to use Ash Blossoms. So it kind of brings the deck back and allows it to kind of go at its own pace. Which is also why I'm playing the one Magician of Dark Illusion, which might be a bit of a risk. But again, it counts as a Dark Magician when it's on the field. It gives me an additional free summon if I activate a spell or trap, which I am playing a lot of. So it does give me that a little bit of additional body on the board to help kind of combat my fellow opponents. And then we've got the one Oracle Mana Mahad. Just Oracle Mahad. I did want to put Mana in here as well, just so I could get that ability of doing a draw 4. But Mana doesn't give you... Like, it doesn't give you that option. Like, when I'm trying to protect my stuff from being targeted, sure. But there's no imperms, there's no veilers. It gives me a little bit more freedom. And the only thing with Oracle Mana and Mahad, which was always amazing, but was the dead thing about it, is if you open it in your opening hand, you've got no way of getting rid of it, you've got no way of getting it to the board, it can be a royal pain in the backside. But if you do keep it in the deck and either you draw it or you summon it off of navigation, you've got that ability of a nice boss monster to deal with dark monsters should your opponent be playing them, but you've also got a nice free summon as well to help your rank 7 plays. Then for the spells, Triple Soul Servant. I can't believe how, well, I can believe the card's amazing, but the price of this card is nuts right now. So good, stack your deck, draw the card, do what you need to, and also helps me put my hard back into the deck. Circle, not much more needs to be said about this. Staple card, you should not be playing any less than 3. If you've got multiples, you just send them off the souls and get more draws. Triple Eye of Twice. So because we're not using Red Eyes Fusion, we can't use Polymerization, we can't use Magical Eyes Fusion. You want to be able to get the most consistent and easiest fusion spell to play around with, and that's just Eye of Twice because it doesn't need another monster. So because we can't play dragons in the deck because it's not technically a Dark Magician card, this is your only way to get into the Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, and of course Dragoon. So you do need to be playing this consistently, and you do need to be able to get to it as easily as possible. And the ways we're going to be doing that is we've got a lot of draw cards with Soul Servant, and of course with Magician Souls. Plus, because we're playing a pure Dark Magician deck, I swear, if my Dark Magical Circle whiffs at any point, I'll be so disappointed. Yes, it can't add the monsters, it can only add the Dark Magicians, but there's so many other cards that it can reveal and spells and traps that I can add to my hand that I'll be very disappointed if it whiffs. We then play a double Secrets of Dark Magic. So like I said, this is the Ritual spell and the Fusion spell. So if I've got the Ritual monster, I'm probably going to use it to successfully Ritual summon, because then my Eternal Soul can constantly bring him back, give me an additional pop, give me an additional disruption. If I don't, I'm going to use it as a quick play Fusion spell that can be used during my opponent's turn as well. Then we play 5 one-offs. So you've got the one Dark Burning Magic, which of course will come off of the back of your bond between teacher and student. Such a good card. I love Soulstone as well, but this one's just that little bit better. The one Dark Magic Attack, because I don't know if my opponent's going to be playing a huge control deck, and if they are, I want the ability to get to a full back row right, because I can't play stuff like Twin Twisters, I can't play Cosmic Cyclones, you're not allowed to play any staples, so if you want back row hate, it has to be naturally entwined within the deck. One Dark Magic Inheritance, because you see that I play a lot of spells. If I put a lot of spells in the graveyard and draw off of Soul Servant or anything like Magician Souls or anything like that, I can then use Dark Magic Inheritance to get me the exact spell or trap that I do want that can then allow me to extend my plays or defend my plays. The one Chaos Form, I'm classing this as a Dark Magician card. It has Dark Magician in its name. I mean, that's the other downside as well with Successor's Soul, is because it technically doesn't list Dark Magician, it's not really a Dark Magician card. You could argue that it's a Blue Eyes card because it has Blue Eyes on the artwork, but even then, it's a grey area. But with Chaos Force, again, what allows this to be better is purely for the fact that it lets you banish the material from the graveyard. Now, I can't use Advanced Ritual Art because it's not a Dark Magician card, but something like Chaos Force, even at 1, is something that I can search at when I want it, either off of Rod, Inheritance, or add it off of Circle. For the trap cards, Triple Eternal Soul. Now, the people that I'm going to be facing in this tournament, you know, they're not stupid. They're going to have some back row hate. Like, you don't want to be facing a control deck. So you don't want to be facing, like, go up against Subterrors with no back row hate, because then you're literally going to instant lose. So you've got to be careful, but Triple Eternal Soul, especially with the Ritual monster in the deck as well, you want to make sure that you have the ability of bringing back a Dark Magician consistently to protect your board, to pop a board, to do what you need to do. Double Navigation. Boy, have I missed this card. It was such a Achilles heel with Ash Blossom floating around and everything like that, but it's really, really nice to get a Magician's Navigation back, because again, we're not using Red Eyes Fusion, we're not constantly sending Dark Magician to the graveyard. The only thing you could put back in the deck is Illusion Magic, just to consistently get Dark Magician back from the graveyard once it's there. But the thing with Navigation, is it just gives you those 2 monsters on the board. They can then be used as fusion material, or they can be used as link material. And the best thing is, if you've got the Dark Magicians and you set this, you've then got another card that can be triggered, and it's got the Graveyard Negation effect as well. Because I'm playing Pure, I've also decided to go with double Destined Rivals. So Destined Rivals can, of course, be searched off a Rod and Circle. It is technically a Dark Magician and a Blue Eyes card as well. But you need to be able to control Dark Magician, which with this deck you are going to be trying to do a lot more consistently, and you get to negate all of your opponent's monster effects. So again, when the pace is slowed down, a card like this is really important. The only thing that I would arguably consider is bumping Combination up to 2 and putting Destined Rivals down to 1. So I really like Magician's Combination, such a cool card. The only issue is that it was so specific. So what I mean by that is once per turn, when a card or effect is activated except during a damage step, you have to tribute Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl, and then special summon one Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl from the graveyard or hand first, to then negate the effect. Now if it was tribute, negate, and then you can summon, so much better, because then it means that you don't have to have a Dark Magician in the graveyard or a Dark Magician Girl in the graveyard or hand. You just have to be able to have a Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl on the board and you're good to go. So it's very, very specific, and it does mean that straight away if your opponent banishes your Dark Magician Girl, this card becomes dead because you're never going to have another Dark Magician Girl to loop around. So it's very specific. It's a really cool card. I just think a little bit of changing on the wording would have taken this from like a D-rated card to like a B, if not an A-rated card, in my opinion, because then it also means that you wouldn't need to play Dark Magician Girl. You would just need to be able to tribute off a Dark Magician, and if you do, you can bring back. So yeah, it would make it so much better. Anyway, that's it for the main deck. Pure 41 cards, I believe it is, of pure Dark Magician magic. No uninterrupted other cards. Then we get onto the fusions, of course. Dragoon, yay. I mean, for Dark Magician players, this card is the best card we own in the extra deck. It's so good, so strong. The only issue with this is it's splashed everywhere. If this was only like playable in Dark Magician, which could possibly happen if Verte gets hit or if Red Eyes Fusion gets hit specifically, then you've got the ability of, you know, it won't become as big of a problem. The double Dark Magicians, you know, such a good card. It's kind of lost the popularity when Dragoons came out, purely because, and in my opinion, Dragoon is better than the Dark Magicians, but now we're going pure Dark Magician, you definitely want 2 of this. It's also the reason you want 2 Dark Magician and the Dragon Knight. So if I wanted to go more control and less worried about Dragoon, and I wanted to protect my Eternal Soul, my combinations and everything like that, then Dark Magician and the Dragon Knight is the one you want to go for. We've got the one Dark Magician Girl, the Dragon Knight. Now, you could probably argue that this is not a Dark Magician card. If that is the case, and if that's how it gets ruled, then it's not an issue, I can take her out. But she does give you the form of spot removal in the deck as well. Which is why we also play the one Paladin, the one Amulet Dragon, and the one Dark Cavalry, just to give me the ability of piercing, more disruption, and attack boost, plus the summon of Dark Magician, and then Paladin for those spell negates if I want to. Then for the XYZs, we've got double Ebon. So you saw I actually play a lot of traps in the deck. So if you're able to combo off a Bond with the Dark Magicians, because the pace is a lot slower, it's easily doable. What that then allows you to do is a Bond will then give you the ability of being able to activate the spells and traps from hand. And then, of course, we've got double Ibon Illusion. So nice to have this guy back. You can't play stuff like Big Eye. You can't play stuff like Red Eye Flare Metal. So this card is still incredibly good. And the fact that you're not burning through your Dark Magicians on a consistent basis and you're playing a lot of level 7 Dark Magicians and like Mahards, plus the Magician of Chaos, stuff like that, then you're pretty much good to go. And then the last card, because, you know, he didn't actually say it had to be TCG legal, is a Magi Girl. No, I'm just kidding. As much as I would love to put Magi Girl in here, I can't. So sad. So sad. For those of you that don't know what Magi Girl does, it requires 2 level 6 spellcasters specifically, and then it has the ability to detach to technically Monster Reborn or Change of Heart. As much as I'd like to have Magi Girl, I can't. So literally the last card can be any Dark Magician fusion you want to bump up. It can be any of the XYZs you want to bump up. It could be 2 Dark Magician Girl, the Dragon Knights. Entirely up to you on what you would want to put in here to play a pure Dark Magician deck. You could put in a 3rd Dragoon if you wanted to, but you're not going to be spinning these cards out. Like once you put these cards out, you're probably going to win from that point on. Another really cool card that I'll take a shout out, purely because it's a pure deck of the deck. Purely because it's a pure deck of the deck. Like, what? So because it's a pure version of the deck, you could put the the quick play spell that lets you boost the attack of your Dark Magicians, which is absolutely fine as well. So it does give you a couple of options, and it does give you that ability to power play across your opponent. But regardless, it was really fun to put this together. I can't wait to see how this does at the tournament of the weekend. So like I said, if you smash that like button and hit that notification bell and get it to at least 50 likes, I will bring you some of those duels from that weekend, whether it goes well or not so well. But as absolutely always, guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, stay safe and happy dueling.
Show yourself, Obelisk the Tormentor!
Settle game as I call your name! Winged Dragon of Ra! I summon the almighty Swiper the Sky Dragon!